Alrighty. Well, very excited to be here. My name is Abdul. I am the co-founder and CEO at Arini AI. Our booth is right there. So today I want to talk to you about the rise of AI native forward deployed engineers. What are they? Why are they useful? Who's using them and why? So I'll start with a brief story about myself. So I studied computer science at Harvard. I did natural language processing research there. And towards my last year there, I got approached by this company called Palantir. Anyone knows Palantir? All right, awesome. A lot of people know it. All right, perfect. So Palantir is basically an agency that works with a lot of governments globally that deploys custom technical software for them. So they go to them, they understand what problems they have, and then they deploy solutions that fix their specific business needs. Each government is very different, so the solutions end up looking quite different from each other. So they approached me, they invited around 20, 25 students, they put us in a room, and they gave us a challenge. They're like, we have a challenge, we have the counter-terrorism challenge. We're gonna give you access to 3 things. The first thing is a list of terrorists and suspects. It has a bunch of details about pictures, names, phone numbers, things of that sort. And then a list of logs, literally millions of call logs. This number called that number at this time in this proximity or this location. And then the last thing, they pointed to someone in the corner and they're like, that guy works at the government. Feel free to ask him questions. You have 3 hours. Your task is come back to us with a list of new suspects that are not on the first list. That's your task. Go figure it out. Like, we're not going to help you with anything else. So I opened the data set, and it is an absolute shit show. There is literally nothing makes not half. I think it was like 45% of the data was literally not in English. Numbers were missing. A lot of numbers were just half of the number. So you don't see the country code. You don't see the few first digits, and it was a disaster, right? So there's nothing I can do with it other than go and talk to this guy and ask him, how did you generate this data? So he starts giving us some insights, and suddenly things start making sense. You know, they got the data from a lot of different sources. They scaffolded things in a certain way, and now things are starting to click. So the first thing I did is let's graph everything. So let's put all that data in a similar graph. If you see the background there, it's like nodes and edges. The nodes are numbers. The edges are basically this number called that number this many times. So you do that, and you start seeing some really cool patterns. There's a cluster here of people that talk a lot to each other, then a cluster here, and this cluster, there's one guy in the middle that talks to both of them. But then there's a third cluster that no one talks to. And then you're like, okay, that's cool, but no clue what any of this means. So let me layer on the list of terrorists and see if they have some digits that match with the call logs. And what we started seeing is that you start seeing terrorists pop up in different clusters, and they start talking to each other. And there are a few folks that talk to with these terrorists or suspects a lot. Let's flag these. Let's flag them, give back the solution to the Palantir team, presented it to them, and then we realized that this was actually a recruiting scheme. So it wasn't just a challenge for fun. They were basically recruiting for deployed engineers. So they do that in a lot of universities. I don't know if they do it now. That was like a while ago. And then they invite you to more interviews, and then you become a forward deployed engineering a resource for them. So with that in mind, what is really the DNA of a forward deployed engineer? The main premise here is that these are people that join your organization. They essentially work with you, for you, at your office, at your HQ for, it could be days, it could be weeks. For some people, it could literally be years. This is top talent engineers that you literally embed, and you're like, hey, you have access to everything, figure out what problems exist. So you can come to them with a business objective. Hey, I have this metric I want to improve. Or actually, I think AI is cool. I don't know what to do with it. Can you guys tell me what are the highest ROI things? Propose it to me, and then work with me on building these agents for me to automate things. So there's a few different approaches here. Now, there's quite a bit of a difference between software engineers and forward deployed engineers. Software engineers build one capability to many clients. So think, I'm going to answer your inbound calls. and I'm going to do a really good job doing it, and I'm going to do it for all the dentists in the world. That's what a software engineer would do. A forward deployed software engineer would work with one client for a specific set of time and give them a lot of capabilities. What problems do you have? You have a problem with inbound calls, let's fix it. What about messages? What about online scheduling? What about credentialing? What about RCM, so on and so forth? So with that, how is this relevant to me? How is it relevant to dental? Why am I talking about this? So the main thing I want to emphasize here is that AI is a very generalizable technology. If you look around the room, there are people that answer calls, send forms, do X-ray analysis, and so many more that are not even in this room. So many solutions, so many vendors. And the main problem here is that if there's no this orchestration layer that connects everyone together, you end up in a world where a lot of these solutions don't talk to each other. So why is that a problem? If the person that's doing my RCM doesn't talk to the person that does my outbound calls, well, if I'm doing outbound reactivation campaigns to your patients, but I don't know if their insurance is verified or not, I'm going to be activated, or I'm going to be booking patients for you that you probably don't want to see right now. So I'm not doing a good job for you. But if everything is connected and integrated, part of one system, where the company that is doing the engagement for you is also aware of what's happening on the RCM side, also aware on what's happening on the image, on the X-ray analysis side, that's when things become extremely powerful. Now, the antidote to having this Frankenstein approach of different companies doing different things is to have these forward deployed engineers actually drafting a plan for you and telling you, these are the bottlenecks that you have. You're spending a lot of money here, a lot of time here. Let's fix these issues for you. And let's put it part of one system that scales with you over time. So this brings me to my next point, which is this forward deployed engineering solution a temporary thing, or is this something that's going to stay with us forever? Ideally, to be honest, one company wins and does everything all at once. You have an all-in-one solution that literally manages your whole enterprise. And it's not specific to dental, it's like in really any industry. But unfortunately, that's not really realistic for one company to do all of these things, because each enterprise is going to have a completely different deployment strategy. These folks are going to be different than these folks. They need outbound, they need inbound, they need messages, they need RCM, so on and so forth. So the reality of the situation is that it's almost impossible to end in a state where a single all-in-one solution will just serve everyone. So that's why I truly believe the forward deployed approach is what's going to allow for companies to deliver you AI where you need it the most. So what I'll end up with here is, I know a lot of you are doing a lot of pilots. Some people, even outside of the room, like DSOs are really piloting a lot of technology from like a lot of different vendors. And the success of these pilots, in my perspective, is actually very dangerous. If the 15 pilots that you're doing succeed and you're happy with them, that means 3 years from now, you're going to have 15 to 20 vendors, and none of these vendors talk to each other. That's a very big problem. You kind of ended up in a Frankenstein situation without planning ahead for it. So what I would suggest for everyone is to actually just take a step back. Take a step back and think of what is your actual AI strategy. Where do you want to end up 3 years from now? Do you want a lot of different vendors, each one doing different things? Or do you want to work with a team that actually embeds themselves in your business, understands what they do, and then gradually start deploying technology that resolves your problems? They can spend weeks in your offices, months, and even years, depending on your size, depending on how hard you want to go with this. That's it for me. Thank you so much. Do I have time for questions, if anyone has? All right, awesome. Anyone has any questions?
Yeah, I want to understand, how do I find the right company? I mean, obviously, it sounds like you're saying, well, Arini is the right one. I mean, we see all kinds of great technology. How am I supposed to know which is the right one that says, oh no, today we sell X kind of AI solution for call centers, but we're also going to end up doing, voice charting, and we're going to end up with real-time adjudication. Like, How are we supposed to know which is the company that's actually going to be there? Because what I'm observing right now, sort of back, and I'm dating myself, when Windows came out and everybody created, like we had 700 different PMS options, and then magically it came down to about 4.
Yep.
So how do you forecast the future and how do we pick? Well, I agree with this concept, but you almost have to have some sort of, magic 8 ball to know who's going to be the right solution that allows us to not end up with this giant technology vendor blow.
Yep, it is honestly very difficult. I'm not gonna have a good answer for that. Because I can't even claim that, oh, Arini is definitely gonna be the company for you. Like, I actually cannot. Like, of course we're gonna try to be that company, but there are a million other vendors out there, and everyone is claiming they're gonna do the all-in-one solution. You kind of wanna work with the team that you develop a relationship with and trust. You see the roadmap, and it's very clear. They're not telling you, hey, I'm just doing this one little thing. Asking them, hey, do you guys have evidence that you're doing other stuff? Like, are you building other stuff as well? Are you actually deploying software engineers or forward deployed engineers to go and work with DSOs and consult with them and understand their business or not? And if the answer is, hey, no, we're just building this one thing, you probably shouldn't, honestly, entertain that opportunity. But if someone comes to you and tells you, no, we're doing the forward deployed approach and we're going to do all these different things, then great. Now you start evaluating different companies. You can do pilots with these folks. Like, for example, we're not going to charge you to do a forward deployed approach just to come back to you and tell you, hey, here's your proposal. No, I will literally send you my team. They will analyze your services, your metrics, understand your business, and then let's talk about money after that. Let me show you value first, and then we'll talk after that.